The Trans-Philippines Hyperloop System is a transnational infrastructure proposal designed to bridge the archipelago, spanning 1,850 kilometers from Appari in the north to Davao City in the south. The system's primary objective is speed, moving pressurized capsules at a cruising velocity of 1,000 kilometers per hour. To reach those speeds, the tubes must eliminate nearly all air resistance. This requires the entire 1,850-kilometer network to function as a sealed pressure vessel, maintained at a near vacuum of exactly 100 pascals. The initial capital requirement for this infrastructure is roughly 3 trillion pesos, approximately $52 billion. This budget creates a direct tension between physical necessity and economic risk. Building a rigid vacuum network across a seismically active archipelago requires significant engineering overhead, while securing $52 billion in debt requires a highly resilient business case. Success depends on tectonic mitigation, high-speed freight logistics, and the capital structure, synchronizing into a single functional model. Analyzing a mega-project of this scale requires treating the engineering and finance as a coupled system. If the physical realities of the route and the operational workflows do not align, the economic model becomes untenable. The most difficult physical bottleneck in the network is the San Bernardino Strait, the channel separating southeastern Luzon from northern Samar. Standard subsea tunnels are unfeasible here. The rugged bathymetry features uneven trenches plunging over 300 meters deep, all while swept by fast-moving tidal currents. These waters are also geologically active, intersecting strands of the Philippine Fault Zone and facing the subduction dynamics of the Philippine Trench. To cross this gap, engineers use submerged floating tunnels, suspended mid-water by tension cables. These anchors penetrate shifting marine sediment deep into volcanic bedrock. The tube utilizes articulated flexible joints and seismic dampers to absorb lateral shear forces during earthquakes, allowing the structure to shift without fracturing. These joints must maintain a hermetic seal, preserving the 100 pascal internal vacuum even while undergoing significant mechanical displacement. Developing and installing these complex subsea joints accounts for a massive portion of the initial capital expenditure, significantly increasing the overall financial risk. Passenger ticket sales alone cannot amortize the massive costs of specialized marine infrastructure. To stabilize the finances, the project incorporates a high-speed logistics layer, a fleet of dedicated freight pods sharing the tubes with passenger transit. These freighter pods are 15-meter-long modular units built from carbon composites and dimensioned to fit the 3.5-meter diameter of the main tube. Each pod is designed to carry up to 20 metric tons of cargo within 90 cubic meters of climate-controlled space. Financial efficiency demands a sub-15-minute pod turnaround. Automated guided vehicles autonomously transport and insert preloaded cargo modules into waiting pods. The pods then enter an airlock, depressurizing to 100 pascals in 180 seconds, preparing for launch. Magnetic track switches then shunt the cargo pods onto the mainline, integrating them into the traffic flow without interrupting passenger capsules. For agricultural exports like mangoes and seafood, the pods use active ethylene gas scrubbing and precise cold chain management to prevent spoilage during transit. Fragile goods are protected by electromagnetic suspension cradles. These isolate the cargo from the mechanical stresses of rapid acceleration and high-speed maneuvers. This automated, high-margin freight service creates a business-to-business revenue stream that is much less volatile than individual passenger travel. These logistical workflows are the gears that drive the project's 30-year financial model. The $52 billion cost is divided. The public sector covers 40% for foundations and land, while private consortia provides 60% for technology and pod fleets. The model requires clearing a 7.5% weighted average cost of capital over 30 years. Revenue is divided, 65% from passenger ticketing, 25% from high-speed B2B freight logistics, and the final 10% from commercial leasing and surplus solar energy sales. Construction is phased to manage this debt. The 15-year build begins with the Luzon Spine, the terrestrial segment connecting Appari to Manila. Commissioning the Luzon segment early allows the system to generate revenue and test operations, while the high-cost marine crossings are still being completed. This specific phasing allows the project to hit its break-even inflection point in year 13. The projected 11.4% internal rate of return directly results from this timing, deferring subsea construction costs until the revenue model has begun to scale. To ensure the system's resilience, we must test how the architecture responds to unforeseen risks. If subsea anchoring proves more difficult than expected, leading to a 30% construction cost overrun, the financial impact is significant. This delay pushes the payback period from 18 years out to 23 years, requiring a restructuring of the private debt. We can also model a scenario where passenger adoption is 25% lower than initial projections. In this case, the logistics layer serves as a shock absorber. Because freight revenue is tied to bulk business contracts rather than individual ticket sales, it provides a stable floor for the project's income. This B2B revenue ensures that the system can still cover its debt service obligations, preventing a default even during periods of low consumer demand. The feasibility of transnational infrastructure depends on this alignment. Physical resilience in the street and automated efficiency in the terminal are the variables that ultimately guarantee the financial security of the network.